Let's talk a little bit about trust. There is a real challenge, almost a zero-sum game, between two competing needs when you're doing supply chain transparency. And that is the need for companies to keep data private and the need for companies to share and be transparent about the origin of their materials. How do we solve this dilemma? The answer is not simple. We cannot say all data should be transparent. Everyone should know everything about their supply chain, because that could cause real problems with anti-competition laws, with antitrust laws. Companies do need to keep certain secrets safe in order to maintain their operations. On the other hand, having everything remain private means no accountability. It gives space for illicit actors to commit human rights abuses or environmental crimes and go undetected. So is the real answer a balance? Well, it's more complicated than that. We need to be able to distinguish between data that needs to be shared and data that needs to remain private. When we're thinking of data that we want to be transparent and visible along a supply chain, we might think of provenance data, location data. Where did this product come from? Where are the companies physically located who produced this material? This information allows the customers to do checks and make sure that the companies are as responsible as they say they are. Can also include third-party audits, government licenses. This type of data helps give confidence to downstream companies, brands that purchase these materials, that they were indeed produced by responsible companies. What data needs to remain private? Well, potentially sensitive data, such as cost of materials, prices paid, specific formulations, mixes of raw materials that might be a trade secret. It can be that you need to store both of these types of data on a blockchain. Not all of the private data needs to be shared with everybody, but for certain regulatory reasons, it does need to be unchangeable so that companies can prove that they were indeed responsible. So how's Minespider addressing this issue of what data needs to be private and what data needs to be shared? Well, we divide data that is put on the Minespider blockchain into 3 different layers. Data in the private layer isn't shared with the entire supply chain, but because it's on the blockchain, companies can be sure that it is unchanged and use it to show regulators that they've been responsible. Data in the transparency layer is shared with your customer and their customers and their customers all the way up the supply chain, but is not visible to competitors or the general public. This type of information is good to show provenance, so the history of where you've purchased the materials, and certifications that need to be seen by the right people in the supply chain. We also have a public layer. Which supply chain actors own which shipments of material, and other data that ensures the integrity of the system. We did this so that the system can operate without one actor having complete control and access to the system. Minespider's data is always encrypted using the key of the owner of the data. That means only the data owner can read it. This is key to solving this problem of trust. No one regulator has access to the data. No central company has access to the data. Only the data owner can decrypt and read the transparency and privacy data that they have access to. By structuring our data in this way, we've created a blockchain system that allows companies to share data without having to trust that central authority with their sensitive data. This system is capable of acting as an infrastructure that has the potential to onboard an entire industry into a new future where sharing this history of materials becomes normal. Because you and I have the right to know what we buy, where it comes from, and under what conditions it was produced.